Welcome to the Jazz Club. I was going to include all of the drama that I'm going to be talking about today in a This Week in Review, but I haven't done a This Week in Review on it because it's so much is happening and the onion is not done being peeled. There's still a lot of stuff that I suspect is going to happen. I still wanted to do a video talking about it just because I find this stuff very, very interesting. I was gonna do an entire video about Dramagedon Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3, but as I was doing research, I formed a timeline just to kind of know exactly what happened, and I found something very, very interesting within the timeline that I really wanted to talk about. Because I feel like no one's kind of addressing this and like using this as evidence against Jeffree Star's manufacturing of Dramagedon 2. Let's talk about it because no one else is. So if you're not familiar with the timeline of Dramagedon 2, let's go over it. James Charles did a brand deal with Sugar Bear Hair. Tati made a Snapchat post kind of shading him. She was very, very upset about it because Sugar Bear is a direct competitor with her brand of vitamins. Then the Bye Sister video drops. The same day, James makes an apology video. Jeffree Star tweeted calling James Charles a predator and a danger to society. Tati uploaded her Why I Did It video. James Charles uploaded his No More Lies videos, directly contradicting everything that has already been said by Tati and Jeffree Star. Jeffree Star makes his Never Doing This Again video, backpedaling on everything that he said about James, and then Tati and James did their public Twitter apologies. Keep in mind, a lot of these videos and things have been deleted since, and so it's kind of hard to piece together a super accurate timeline, but that's for the most part what happened. If you haven't seen Tati's Ending My Silence or whatever the fuck it's called video, she said that she was manipulated by Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson, saying that they were continuously feeding her lies about James and about his predatory behavior. I don't think it was Shane as nearly as much as it was Jeffree, and that is purely based on Shane's reaction via Instagram Live. He was completely disgusted with everything Tati was saying. I think Shane has definitely built up so much credibility over the years. It's kind of hard not to see his reaction as genuine. For that reason, I do think what he was saying was real. I think his reaction was real. And I think he has far more credibility than Jeffree Star will ever have. And this brings me to how Jeffree Star attacked James Charles because of a makeup palette. To understand the timeline, we actually have to take it back to almost 2 years ago. It pains me to even say that we have to take it that far back, but we do. Shane Dawson was in the middle of releasing his first series with Jeffree Star. On August 8th specifically, that was the date that The Secret Life of Jeffree Star was released. That's the title of the episode. And based on this Instagram picture, it was filmed in July. In that episode, a possibility of a Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star palette collaboration was first introduced. That is when they talked about the idea and they discussed kind of as a joke initially, but Jeffree Star said, hey, we should do this, it would be awesome. Then it became a real thing via the Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star series, the second series, part 2, I don't know what to call it. The second series, I don't think it was given a name. The trailer for the second series dropped on September 24th of 2019. And the first episode dropped on October 1st. Based on the first episode, filming started on October 26th, 2019. And in the first episode, the palette wasn't in development yet. It was just Shane going to a Morphe store, and it wasn't until the second episode that was released a few days later. Names started being bounced around, colors were being selected, all of that jazz. Based on the information of the second episode, it was filmed on the 28th of February. Episode 3, frankly, is kind of irrelevant. It's in episode 4 that the main piece of incriminating evidence is in. Episode 4, the $20 million deal with Jeffree Star, was released on October 18th. Based on the date shown in the series, the phone call that they had with Morphe negotiating how many units that they were going to buy was on March 19th of 2019. So they have this call with Morphe, and Morphe was wondering when the launch date was going to be. Shane and Jeffree said that they were looking at a November 1st launch date. At this point, Morphe started to panic, or at least that's how the editing looked. They mute the call for a second, and Jeffree nudges Shane to ask them if they're having another launch of some sort in November.
Right, and then we talk about like peak season, right? I mean, that's also when, you know.
And that is when Morphe says this.
The challenge is to see that there will likely be an anniversary of the James Charles palette that we launched last November.
Now, this is not Morphe confirming that James was going to have a palette launch, but it's them hinting that something is going to happen. They're not like denying, they're not saying, oh, there's not going to be a palette launch, but we're having something. They're saying there will likely be some sort of anniversary. At this point, like, this is confirming that Jeffree Star knew about the palette at least by March. I have a very strong feeling that Jeffree Star knew that there was going to be a second collaboration between James and Morphe around January of 2019. As far as from what I saw, they didn't confirm the launch date anytime before episode 4, and that's in the series, that's on Twitter, on Instagram, whatever. They did it in episode 4. There was a video that was released about a week before episode 4, and that was the James Charles x Morphe mini collection reveal video. And in that video, it was announced that on October 17th, that was when his launch was going to be. In that video, James Charles says 9 months ago 2 times. First time he says 9 months ago, he talks about how he was at a dinner with the Morphe Cosmetics team or whatever, and Morphe approached James regarding a second collaboration. The second time he says 9 months ago, he says, after 9 months of planning. If you do the math, 9 months before October was January. I tried to find some sort of Instagram post, Twitter post, whatever, like in reference to this dinner to try to get like some sort of like date clarification. But at the end of the day, the idea of a mini palette happened in January. Do you know what also happened in January? A collab with James, Tati, and Jeffree Star. I forgot to do a little bit of research and figure out when the collab was filmed between Tati, James, and Jeffree. So I just did it, like, right now. And based on this Instagram picture, it was filmed on the 22nd of January and then posted a couple of days later. It happened on James Charles' channel. They were playing some sort of makeup game or whatever. Considering James Charles, at this point in time, not only looked up to Tati, but he also looked up to Jeffree. And don't you think that it would be a smart idea to bounce an idea off of someone you look up to, off of a mentor? I'm almost 100% sure that this is when Jeffree Star found out about a second collaboration with Morphe. Tati pointed out in her Breaking My Silence video, based on what she says, I got the image that there was more James Charles merchandise being sold than Jeffree Star merchandise being sold. And wouldn't that enrage you a little bit? As someone who owns a business, wouldn't it be upsetting to you that your own stuff was underperforming your competitors? Jeffree Star saw an opportunity to take away some of James Charles' success by releasing a palette, and in doing so, he also saw an opportunity to turn people against James. Jeffree Star is 34 years old now. So at the time that was happening, he was probably, what, 32, 33? He was a roughly 32, 33-year-old man going after, at the time, what? He's 21, a 19-year-old? Like, why? And in my mind, this is the plan that Jeffree Star was pursuing. Let's distract consumers from the Morphe and James collaboration with a Shane and Jeffree collaboration. And then he also wanted to take away James Charles' credibility, likability, by painting this image of him that he is one of the worst things you could be on this planet, a sexual predator, and just completely tarnishing James's reputation. And he saw the opportunity and he freaking took it. To his credit, his devious plan worked. James Charles' mini collection flopped. It got a lot of negative reactions as far as what I saw, and a lot of people thought it was a money grab, me included. I thought this was just kind of like a, you know, just another way for him to make money that wasn't really like a new original idea. There was a lot of like reasonings behind why the second collaboration flopped. I feel like it was a direct result of Dramagedon 2 and all of the bullshit that Jeffree Star manufactured. And I feel like if he was like a supportive friend, because as I've already established, Jeffree Star knew, he would have pushed back the date for the Shane launch. He would have pushed it back. He would have waited. He would have let James have the moment, because not only was it confirmed by Morphe that something was going to happen, but Jeffree Star already knew. Jeffree Star already knew what was going to happen. He could have waited for the second week of November and let James have his full moment, but he didn't want to give him that. And because Dramagedon 3 is in direct correlation with Dramagedon 2, it is not over yet, unfortunately. All I know is Tati has receipts, James has receipts, and Jeffree has receipts for damn sure. So I feel like we're all kind of teetering, waiting for Jeffree to release what he has. And at the end of the day, this is like actual legal shit. As much as Trisha Paytas wants to downplay this as petty YouTube bullshit and, you know, act all holier than thou, preaching for the fucking arrest of Breonna Taylor's murderers, as much as she wants to pretend she's the fucking Madonna, this is like real shit. This is blackmail, which is against the law. This is defamation of character. What was discussed over the last week is just a tip of the iceberg. Like, we're truly just waiting on Jeffree Star at this point. To top it all off, I don't think it's a coincidence that Jeffree Star came out of Dramagedon 1 and Dramagedon 2 completely unscathed by the hand of Shane Dawson. I do think Shane is guilty for kind of playing into the drama and kind of playing into Jeffree Star's lies, but he's not nearly as guilty as Jeffree Star. Thank you for watching. If you got other receipts, if you got other tea, let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed at me filming this, it feels like a rant and it feels like me just blabbering on, but hopefully the final edited product actually looks like, you know, a full coherent thought. If you liked it, I don't know, like the video. Honestly, you could dislike it for all I care. Yeah, so bye.